Hey everyone, I'm going to make some garlic knots and I thought I'd take you along with me. This is a very simple recipe that always pleases everyone. And the easiest way to do this is to use frozen bread dough. I like the Rhodes dinner rolls. That makes it super simple. You just have to let them thaw out about an hour to the point where they're pliable. And then I'm going to make the olive oil, garlic, and seasoning dip that I'll roll the knots in. Then they go back on the pan and raise for a couple hours before I bake them. In your bowl that's big enough to roll one of the knots in. This is hard Parmesan cheese. I'm going to grate about a half a cup in here. Have you ever been to Olive Garden? They come by and they say, "Would you like cheese on that?" And everybody says, "Yes, make it rain." And I decided their graters were so cool, I needed one. So I went on Amazon, I got one. I've had it for years, it's held up. Highly recommend. About a half a cup of olive oil. Then I add garlic powder, about a teaspoon. And about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then about a half a teaspoon of cracked pepper. And about a half a teaspoon of salt. Looks like that. It's the fun part. You stretch your dough out about 7 inches or so. It doesn't really matter. Just far enough that you can make a knot. It's like tying your shoelaces. And you just roll it around in that mixture. And put it on the pan. And you do all of these. And then once you get them on the pan, you can pour a little more of the mixture over the top if you have some left. So there's my garlic knots. There's only 4 of us having dinner, so I'm making 9. And I'm going over these with the extra sauce. Let these raise for a couple of hours until they're fluffy, and then they bake for about 15 minutes at 400. Here are the garlic knots after they've raised. They're going to go in the oven now. I top them with the last of the garlic and oil that was in the bowl. We're going to have green beans. These are 2 bags of beans out of the vegetable bits and bites bin in my freezer. So I ended up with about 2 cups of beans after I chopped off all the ends. I'm going to boil these not too long though, because you know after being frozen they don't need to cook very long. Alright, here's the finished garlic knots. They puffed up really nicely in the oven. Okay, so you can see what we've got going on over here. I've got the chicken and the egg mixture that's been marinating about 10 minutes. And now I'm going to dip it in these breadcrumbs and fry it in this hot skillet. Waiting for that butter to melt. That's about a half a cup to 3/4 a cup of olive oil that I used from the garlic knots, and about 2 tablespoons of butter. I think it tastes better if you do a little bit of both. I opened this jar the first week in January, so it's still good. I'm going to use that on most of it, but on a couple pieces, I absolutely love this butternut squash and pumpkin marinara from Aldi, and they only have it in the fall. I mean, this stuff, I just love it. I also opened this the first week in January, so I'm going to do a couple pieces with this. This is out of my freezer. I'm going to use a little of this soft mozzarella that was in the freezer as well. So cleaning it out a little bit and a little bite at a time. Okay, so here's my plate. Yum, yum. Can't wait to try that. My glass of Saturday night wine. Heading out to the patio. It's about 65 degrees here. Perfect night. Take care, guys. See you on the next one.